Hello, friends. um, Welcome back to Creep Designs by Twitch, or if you're new here, welcome. Um, on this episode of Creep Designs, we are participating in another challenge. It feels like it's been a while since I've done one. But yeah, anyway, this is the Ugly Duckling Challenge hosted by Cory from Desert DIY. If you're not on the playlist yet, the playlist will be in the description of this video. Um, yeah, if you've been here before, you know what the deal is with the Ugly Duckling Challenge. Take something ugly, make it pretty. But this time, there is a little bit of difference to it, and this time we'll be taking the piece that we finish and giving it away to someone in need, or gifting it to someone as a gift, Christmas present, or if you can't do either of those, sell it and take the proceeds and give them to a charity or someone in need. I'm pretty sure that's the gist of it anyway. It's pretty straightforward. All right, well, without further ado, let's spin around and have a look at the piece I'm working on. Alrighty. So, it's nothing overly exciting. It's been sitting here for a while. I paid $40 for it a while back, thinking that it was nicer than it was, and it really wasn't. It's a pretty basic, cheap piece. I think the most exciting thing for me was the cane webbing in the doors, and I really wanted to do a hutch, but didn't realise it was such a piece of crap. But squished cockroach on the side. Welcome to Queensland. It's pretty basic. It doesn't have a back on it. I have a plan for that. Hopefully, still some of Mum's old floorboards from the house renovations. I'm going to keep the design of this fairly simple. Don't think I have to do any repairs on it or anything. I'm not making too many alterations. Yeah, we'll just kind of try and fancy it up a bit. Maybe try and make it a bit more modern. We'll see how we go. Okay, I've started pulling things out. The drawer is out, and looked inside, and the runners have literally they're just pieces of wood that have just been nailed on. I don't know if this one's loose too. Yeah, they're both wobbly, and both just been nailed on. And this shelf that's in here is a piece of wood that doesn't even go all the way back. I'm sorry about the noise of the trucks. Doesn't even go all the way back, and I don't know how that's attached. It's just got a couple of little brackets underneath. Jeez, I don't even know if this piece is worth doing. Alright, really disappointing. Didn't realise it was such a piece of crap. I don't know what's going to end up happening with this piece. It's not... I wouldn't feel right giving this to someone unless, it was just to, go out in their back deck for, garden storage or something like that. But I'd still feel really bad about giving this to someone on the premise that it was, a charitable thing to do. Alright, I'm still going to do it. And I'm going to look at it as I either refinish it and make something of it, or it gets pulled apart and ends up in the tip, which is the worst case scenario. I don't want to do that because A, that would be a waste of my $40 that I paid for it ages ago, and B, I don't like holding on to things and then contributing them to landfill because that's just a waste. So I'm going to continue with it and make the best of it. It is what it is, but I'm not going to give up. To make refinishing the top easier, I'm removing the hutch, and it is just held in by one screw either side. Turns out these handles are those real annoying ones that have the plug, and I just gave it a few taps with the hammer and pulled that sucker out. Obviously now I need to plug the holes up, so I'm just cutting the plugs off these handles and using them to plug them up. There are a few small gaps around the plugs, so I just grabbed some wood putty and smushed it in as best I could. But for the rest of the gaps and cracks on this piece, I used some Bondo. Okay, so I'm doing something a little different on the top. I haven't done this yet, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I'm going to start with a base of Murray in the Millie Boutique Mineral Paint range. And then I'll be using these paint chips that are from Kmart. It's not the paint. It's not the chalk paint. I would not be using that, not even on this. But yeah, just paint chips. It comes in two different colours, like two different kinds of colours. I went for this one. It's kind of a mix of like a white, black, grey, and there's a colour in there that looks a little similar to Murray, which is why I've gone with Murray. And I didn't want to go for a stark white. But yeah, I'm using this piece as a chance to give this stuff a go and see how it goes. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay down 2 coats of Murray. I put my second coat on a little thicker, and then once it was all on, I gave it a bit of a spray with my misting bottle, just to keep it from drying out too fast. Whilst the paint's still wet, I started sprinkling on the paint chips. I tried to make sure they were sporadic, no big piles anywhere, and made sure I got all of my edges and corners. They were sticking up quite a bit, so I just went around with my hands and kind of slapped them down all over the place. For the edges, I brushed some fresh paint on and then kind of got a handful of sprinkles and just kind of pressed them on there. There was no real easy way to do this part. Once I got rid of any loose bits of flakes, I then went over it with another 3 coats of Murray. I want to build the layers up so that I can then sand it down so that it's smooth, because I don't want it to have all the lumps and bumps of the paint chips in the final finish. Now, I forgot to record it for whatever reason, but once I got this all nice and smooth and sanded down, I went over it with 3 coats of Millie clear coat. Alright, it is not perfect, but it looks bloody good and it feels nice and smooth. I think it looks the part. Now let's just see if I can get the rest of it to look good. Alright, the colour we are going for on the body of this piece is Black Bear. I love using Black Bear because, it's just amazing. It's black. What's not to love about black? And black covers up a plethora of crap. Black makes everything look better. Isn't that right, ladies? I've also got 2 bottles of this for some reason, so I know I've got more than enough. I was going to go for like a blue and go for kind of like a Hamptons look, maybe, but black. Black is where it's at. I think this is also a good opportunity to use one of the new Millie stencils. Alright, it took me ages to decide which stencil to go with, but I landed on number 1. I'll put the link for this in the description along with everything else, of course. Now, I really don't do a lot of stenciling. I don't know why, it's just not really my jam. But I'm using a stabbing motion for this, or stippling, whatever you call it. My arm gets tired really sore doing this really fast, but look at how good that turns out. I was actually really surprised at how good it looks. Now I've got to deal with the little issue of the missing back. So whilst we were renovating my mum's house, I laid a whole bunch of floorboards for her, floating floorboards. It was not fun, and I swear I'll never do it again because it was horrible. But I will be using some of the leftover boards for the backing on this piece. So after getting the first 2 boards on, I quickly realised that the 2 patterns going on was not working for me and I wasn't digging it. So I took the boards off, fit them all together, which was a lot easier doing it down on the table instead of trying to get them to fit together on the back. I taped them together so that they'd hold together a bit whilst I flipped it over, taped up the backs, and then flipped it back over. I probably didn't have to do all of that, but that's how I was doing it. I had toyed with the idea of using a different colour, like maybe Doe River, for the backing so that it had a bit of difference in it, but I'm glad I went with Black Bear because, you know, black never fails you. So here's a quick reminder of how it was looking before. And here she is now. I like to think she is simple but stunning. Alright, that is another challenge piece done. It turned out a lot better than I was expecting. I'm kind of annoyed. If it was a better piece, I'd be a lot happier with it. But because it's so crappy on the inside, like the bones of it, I'm kind of annoyed that it's turned out so well. Um, I'm not going to give it away just yet. I'm going to wait until I've got a spare day to take care of the inside and make it better. I wouldn't feel right giving it to someone in the state it's in on the inside. So I'll fix that up when I've got the time to do it and then go from there. But because of how good that looks, I'm definitely going to be doing this again, but on a better quality piece. So maybe a bigger hutch or something like that. Just something better. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, wherever the thing is. Don't forget to check the description for anything used in this video, as well as the playlist link if you're not already on the playlist. Thank you to Cory from Desert DIY again for hosting another amazing challenge. These challenges are the highlight of my year. I love them. I always leave it to the last minute though, stupidly, but you know, sometimes that's when we work best. What else? Thank you to Pam for buying me coffees in the Buy Me a Coffee app. My link is in the description if you're interested in that, as well as my Amazon wish list. I think that's it. Pew pew. All right. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to watch everyone's videos in the playlist. Everyone appreciates the support. Subscribe to everyone. My arm's getting tired from holding my phone up, so I'm going to go, and I'll catch you next time.